Good morning, I'm Miss Corinne, and it's time for Take Two Tales, your virtual story time recap. Dr. Seuss once wrote, "Today you are you." That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. And our story today is about being yourself and being proud of who you are. It's The Happy Dromedary by Bernice Frechette, and the pictures are by Glenn Rounds. A long time ago, when the earth was new, the king of the animals turned to all of the animals and he said, a long time ago, when the earth was new, the king of the animals told all of the animals, look around and pick where you would like to live. Well, the tiger and the leopard chose the green leafy jungle. The bear and the fox chose the deep woods. The mouse and the rabbit chose the green meadow. And the birds chose the blue sky and the tops of the trees. There was one animal called the dromedary who went where none of the other animals would go. She went to the desert, the sandy, dry, hot desert, and she saw the golden sands, the red hills, and the blue sky, and she thought it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. This is where I will live. Well, she began to walk through the sands of the desert, but her dainty little feet just went straight into the sand. Well, this won't do, she said. I need wider, flatter feet so that I can walk on top of the sand. So she went to the king of the animals and said, "Oh, king of the animals, will you make my feet wider and flatter so that I can walk on top of the sand in the desert?" "What a great idea," he said. And so he granted her wish. He made her feet wider and flatter. And sure enough, she could walk easily over the sand of the desert. As she was walking, it was quite hot, and there wasn't much water to be found. It was a long walk from one water hole to the next. How can I solve this problem? I know, I need some way to carry water with me on my back. So she went again to the king of the animals and she said, "Oh, king of the animals, will you give me a hump on my back so that I can carry water from watering hole to watering hole without getting thirsty?" "What an excellent idea," said the king of the animals. And so he gave her a hump on her back. She carried so much water in that hump, she could go a long ways without ever needing to drink water. But the other animals saw the dromedary with her big hump on her back and her wide, flat feet, and they began to make fun of her. Look, she's so ugly now. Look at that big hump on her back. Did you see her feet? Talk about a flat foot. Wow. That's so embarrassing. Why did she do that? And it made the dromedary very sad. So she went back to the king of the jungle and said, "Can you please undo the changes? Can you take away my hump and take away my flat feet? Because everybody's making fun of me and I don't like it." The king of the animals thought, and he looked at her and he said, "Dromedary, you came up with some very clever solutions for how to live in the desert. And I think that someday you will be a very good friend to those who live in the desert. I cannot undo what you've asked me to do." "Oh, okay." She hung her head low, ashamed and embarrassed of how ugly the other animals thought that she was. The king of the animals thought just a little while longer. There is something that I can do for you, Dromedary. I will give you a long neck so that you can hold your head up high and be proud of who you are, how clever you are, and how you help others. And so the dromedary held her head high, and when she walked by the other animals, instead of making fun of her big hump or her wide, flat feet, they saw her head held high, and they said, "Wow, look at her. She's magnificent. She's so proud of who she is. How unique and wonderful." The end. Have you seen this animal before? Does it look like something that maybe you know by another name? That's right, a camel. A dromedary is just a type of camel. Did you enjoy that story about how the camel got her hump, her wide, flat feet, and her tall, long neck? Can I tell you guys a secret? I rode a camel one time, and let me tell you, they are so tall. Magnificent is really the word for it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this story today. Thank you for coming to hear this story. I will miss you when you go, but I will see you at our next story time. Until then, I love you so. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.